afternoon. I'm recording this a little bit later than what I typically record. It's 2 p.m. Like I said, recording this a little bit later than usual. Today is June 4th. It's been a solid day today. Your boy got a fresh cut, you feel me? So I'm feeling myself a little bit. I ain't gonna lie to you. I didn't think I was gonna get a cut. So when I pulled up to the barbershop and homie was there, very, very happy. But so far today, been keeping it pretty routine. Woke up this morning, made some breakfast, went to the gym, felt sick at the gym. So we might not be eating breakfast before the gym because I never really do that. I decided to do it today because I wanted to do some things out the gym and I was gonna be out the house for a decent amount of the time. But it just don't feel right. It's probably because I'm just so used to doing it fasted. So we might just continue doing that. After the gym, went to go get a haircut, went to go pick up some clothes from the cleaners, came to the school, UHart, and went to the library, did some reading for some time. I want to continue to be on top of my reading. I feel like so far this is the most consistent I've been with reading in a long time, which I'm very happy about and which I'm very pleased about. So let's keep that going for real. Yeah, and now I'm here, found an empty classroom, something I want to talk about. This, once again, is from one of the books that I've read, one of the books I'm currently reading, 33 Strategies of Law. And as you can see, stay calm under pressure. There was a chapter number 3, and the name of the chapter is, amidst the turmoil of events, don't lose your presence of mind. That's just a fancy way of just how to stay calm under pressure. And he gave 6 ways to, they're not necessarily 6 ways to stay calm under pressure, but they're more like 6 ways to toughen your mind in order for your emotions not to overtake you. And that way you can essentially stay calm under pressure. Because essentially, when like pressure happens, a lot of it's just like our emotions that overtake us, you know? When something unfortunate happens, we either get nervous, we get scared, we get angry, we might even get too overexcited, and that emotion essentially overtakes us, and then it kind of leads us to messing up the moment, essentially, whatever that moment may be. 33 Strategies of War, he talks a lot about like battle and war and stuff like that, but a lot of these principles could be used just in like everyday life. So one of the first things that he said is to essentially put yourself in conflict, expose yourself to conflict. I'm pretty good at staying calm under pressure, you know? I feel like I've been blessed with that, but one reason why I am is because I'm not even gonna say I put myself in conflict, but I just have been put in unfortunate situations many times to where after a while, you kind of get used to conflict and used to that pressure, used to somebody either stepping to you or used to things around you falling apart, and now you have to put everything together. What I was blessed with too is I've watched my friends be put in conflict and watched them and see how they have responded to it. And that helped me tremendously, personally. I'll use one example, and I don't really talk to him much, which is unfortunate, but a good friend of mine, Joseph, I met him freshman year at college. I have watched him, and I'm pretty good at observing people. I really try to observe people. I really try to watch people and listen to what they say, but mainly just watch their actions and what they do. And we put ourselves in some unfortunate situations, us being young and us being stupid. And I've watched how he carried himself. And I learned a lot just by watching him be put in situations where like his back is against the wall and he has to think of something off his mind or off the cups. A good example is one time we went to Rhode Island and we're on our way back from Rhode Island. And we stopped in this place called Killingly, Connecticut. Apparently it's a little racist out there. I'm not sure, but they ain't really treating us right. I ain't even gonna lie. Joseph is a white dude, by the way. But so we were out there. It was 4 of us. 2 of us was black, 2 of us was white. And, you know, we were outside smoking. And during the time, smoking is illegal. Now, I mean, you're still not supposed to smoke in public areas, but now there's dispensaries and stuff. You can buy it and it's legal in the state, but during that time, it wasn't. So we're out there smoking, and sure enough, 2 cops' car comes. One comes from like the right side, and another comes from the left. So they come in on some like, you ain't leaving, playboy. You ain't leaving. And sure enough, I ain't never been put in this position. I just started smoking, so I'm scared, bro. I'm like, yo, I'm cooked. We're cooked, bro. Mom's gonna be sick. Sure enough, he was like, yo, chill out. He was like, yo, chill out. He took the blunt and put it behind us on like a ledge. And we all stood there on the corner. He said, everyone pull out Pokemon Go. During this time, Pokemon Go was popular. We were all playing it. So we pull out Pokemon Go, and luckily, right where we were at was a freaking Pokestop. So that's even perfect. That's even better. So we pull it out, and the cops come up, and they start asking us questions. And Joe, very calm, very cool, was like, yeah, you know, we're coming back from Rhode Island. We just stopped here. It was a Pokestop. We're really big into Pokemon Go, stuff like that. We all showed the cops our phones to prove that we're playing Pokemon Go. And that's how I knew we were straight, because then the cops started asking questions about Pokemon Go. Like, oh really? Like, you know, I ain't never really been into all that Pokemon stuff. What do you, like, what exactly do you do? Like, the cop became real cool, started asking questions, had a convo with him. And then after that, they left. They're like, all right, well, you guys, you know, stay safe, all right, yada, yada, yada. And then they got up out of there. But I was like, damn. But watching how he reacted when we were clearly doing something that we weren't supposed to, and authorities came, and he didn't panic, he didn't bug out. He was cool, calm, and collective, bro. Like I like to say, I'm a big football dude. Homie stood in the pocket. Homie stood in the pocket, bro. Took the hit. Ended up throwing for a TD. You know what I mean? After that, we went to go get some food. After we got food, homie ran back, picked up the blunt, and it was still just sitting there. And then we got in the car and we drove off. I was like, damn. I mean, that's kind of crazy. But watching how he handled himself, and there have been other situations that happened, not just with him, but with other friends, but watching how they handled themselves in conflict, I was like, damn. But exposing yourself to that and exposing yourself to unfortunate situations essentially helps you be able to handle unfortunate situations, you know? So a couple notes I ended up taking down from the book was, it's better to confront your fear than ignore them, which is 100% right, because no matter what, your fears are gonna keep on coming and coming and coming. And also, like, when you face your fear, you essentially familiarize yourself with it. So eventually, that anxiety you once had over a certain fear, because you keep facing it over and over and over again, that anxiety just goes down because you get used to it. It's like you're doing it over and over and over and over. If you have a fear of talking to girls, but you keep talking to girls every single day, eventually that fear you have of talking to women is just gonna go away. Why? Because you don't you have familiarized yourself with fear to where it's just normal. And now it's no longer a fear. Now it's normal. Frankly, that's how I got better at talking to women. It's just you talk to women. You have to face that fear. You have to put yourself in that fire to get used to it. And of course, the first time is hard. The first time you're nervous. The first time you're scared. But over time, it just becomes natural. You just become used to it. And that's really with any fear. I just use women because that's just an easy one to go off of. But that's really just with any fear, with anything. You know what I'm saying, Brody? So also, in this chapter, it explained having a sense of honor and dignity. And, you know, we live in a world where everyone pretty much focuses on themselves. But what I've also noticed is, yeah, we do focus on ourselves, and we're very much inward now with social media, and we're all pretty much narcissists, all that other fun stuff. But people watch you. When you out are in public and you're doing things, people watch you, believe it or not. People are judging you. And people are watching you, and they're watching to see what you do. And it was almost saying, act as if people are depending on you, you know? As if people are relying on you to get this done. People are relying on you to confront your fear and handle yourself in a respectable manner. And I know people act differently when they're alone, But maybe we should start acting as if someone's watching us at all times. Because then we would carry ourselves much differently. Because what we do alone is different than what we do when we're out in public and when people are watching us. But anyway, essentially, someone's watching you. Someone's depending on you. How are you going to show up? Are you going to fail and fumble the ball, fumble the bag, and that person relying on you is be like, damn, can never rely on him again. Damn, homie lost all his dignity. Homie has no honor. Or are you going to step up to the plate and face it like a man and handle your business? You know? So that's the first one. The second one is be self-reliant. Dependency makes you vulnerable to your emotions. Dependency weakens you, personally, I believe. Dependency weakens you. You depend on someone. And, you know, I took a trip to the Philippines and I went by myself. And everybody was like, oh, why are you going so far away? Why are you going by yourself? You should go with somebody. It'd be better, it'd be safer if you went with someone, yada, yada, yada. I don't want to depend on nobody, bro. I don't. Because I gotta hope that this person is on the same type of time that I'm on. The date gotta be right. The time's gotta be right. We gotta agree on what the heck we're doing. We gotta agree on the places we're going. All that, it's like, yo. So I have to depend on this person for me to take a trip. So if this person is not okay with this, I can't do it. No, that's stupid. It makes you weak. Don't depend on nobody but yourself. Obviously, there are times where you might have to ask for help and all that other stuff, but majority of the times, man, focus on yourself. Depend on yourself. Learn to trust yourself. Learn to trust yourself. Learn to have confidence in yourself. If you don't have confidence, build confidence. How do you build confidence? You gain skills and you essentially just do it. Repetition is how you build confidence. You do something over and over and over and over again until you know for sure I can do this. How did I build confidence at my workplace? I did it over and over and over and over and over again. How did I build confidence in the gym? I went there every single day since I was freaking 11 years old. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I'm so confident when I walk into the gym. I know exactly what I'm doing. I don't gotta worry that, oh, maybe I'm doing this wrong or that wrong. I know what I'm doing. But you need to depend on yourself. You need to trust yourself. Don't rely on nobody, man. Dependency is just gonna make you weak. Be self-reliant, trust yourself, learn to trust yourself. And something that this book pointed out, that I didn't even realize it, but it's so true. We typically overestimate others' abilities and underestimate our abilities. Typically, you go to somebody and you're like, oh, they can do this. Oh, they definitely can do this. They've done this a bunch of times. They're so smart. They're this, they're that. And you done overestimated what they really can do. Because in reality, you don't know if they can do it, you know? Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you might have seen them done it and you're like, oh, okay, cool. But other times you don't really know. You just think, oh, okay, yeah, they can do it and they're gonna do a great job and all this other stuff. Little do you know, they don't really know what they're doing. They're just BSing it. And they might can make their way through. And it might be good enough to where they can help you through it, but they don't really know. And a lot of times you can do what you think you can't do. But you have this like limiting belief and you don't believe in yourself, so you underestimate your abilities. But if you just tried, you probably surprise yourself that, oh, okay, I can actually do this. Oh, damn, wow, I actually did a really good job on this. Oh, damn, I actually know more than what I thought I knew. But because you rely on other people, you'll never get there. So stop relying on other people. You gotta trust yourself, man. You gotta trust yourself. Because if you don't trust yourself, you're gonna be put in a position where you are under pressure and you can't perform because you don't trust yourself. You don't trust the decisions you make. You don't have confidence. So you have to be reliant on yourself. You cannot depend on others. Next, suffer fools gladly. This one kind of confused me because I was like, yo, what the heck does this mean? Essentially, it was like, don't waste time and energy on fools. There are people around you who are fools, more than we know, who really don't know what the heck they're doing and have no idea what's going on. Essentially, don't waste your time on them. There's no need. They don't really know, you know? And, you know, sometimes it's hard to like spot a fool, but like other times you kind of know. And this comes into kind of trusting yourself. You could come across people, and you could tell that they fake it. You could come across people and tell that they just BSing you. Or you could come across someone and they're They do a lot of talking, but their actions don't kind of add up. I consider that a fool as well. They do a lot of talking, but yet their actions never show. They talk about the same things over and over, but then refuse to change. So why are we doing this? Why are you even trusting them? And the book was essentially saying, like, you know, laugh with them, joke with them, you know, hear their sob stories, but don't let their emotions rub off on you. Because sometimes people come and they might be anxious, they might be nervous about something or whatever, but don't let their emotions actually affect you. Emotions are contagious, energy is contagious, but essentially don't let that control you or put you in a bad spot or mess you up. Because if you're in a situation where you need to be focused, where you need to be locked in, where you need to be calm under pressure, and someone comes in and they're all anxious and they're nervous and all this other stuff, and they're just talking about all this BS, and you can feel their energy, you can feel their emotion of them being all nervous and scared and stuff like that, but you can't let it. Especially if their opinion almost means nothing. You can't let them mess you up, bro. You can't. It's just gonna ruin everything, because you're gonna feed off of their emotion, and then now all of a sudden their doubts become your doubts, and now when you need to be locked in, when you need to be focused, you're cooked. You are cooked. All because someone who isn't as intelligent as you, or isn't as smart as you, or isn't as prepared as you, came in on some BS talking about all their limiting beliefs, and it effed you over. So the next one, number 4, crowd out feelings of panic by focusing on simple tasks. When situations scare us, imaginations start to take over, filling our minds with anxieties. Oh man. Our imagination could be great, but also our biggest enemies, you know? And the imagination typically tends to feed off of the unknown. When you really don't know what's gonna happen, that's when our imagination kind of starts, you know, painting a picture for ourselves. And depending on the situation, that picture could be just a bunch of anxiety. It could just be a whole bunch of unfortunate things which lead us to have anxiety. So we're like fighting unreal troubles, you know? And I guess the whole point of the whole like focusing on simple tasks is just trying to get your mind back to kind of reality. So instead of you just imagining all these things that aren't real, if you focus yourself on a task like a calming ritual you might have, or something that you're good at, you're essentially just creating composure. You're bringing yourself back down to reality, and you're able to kind of see things a little bit more clearly. You're not using your imagination that brings up anxieties, which anxiety is just a very bad emotion that you feel, which no one wants to feel. But anxiety in times of pressure is just never good. It never is. A focused mind has no room for anxiety or the effects of an overactive imagination. You have to find a way to bring yourself back to reality. You got to find a way to focus yourself. And this is hard, I ain't even gonna lie to you, because I struggle with this. I tend to overthink, and my anxiety my imagination starts to run wild, which increases my anxiety. And sometimes it's hard to come back down to reality. And I guess I gotta figure out a simple task I can do to kind of bring myself back, because I don't really have that. But I can see how having some type of calming ritual or doing something that you're pretty good at can bring you back down to reality. So number 5, unintimidate yourself. Intimidation ruins your presence of mind. Convince yourself that the person you are facing is just like you. They are mortal. They have insecurities. We're all people. We all bleed the same. There ain't nothing different between us. No one should really intimidate you. No one should really scare you, because you might be intimidated at somebody else, but they're intimidated by you. You think that this person is all high and mighty and all this other stuff, yet they're fighting the same insecurities as you are, if not more insecurities than you are. There's no need to be intimidated or scared by anyone. We're all the same. We're all human beings. We all the same flesh and blood. We just got different mothers and fathers. That's about it. We all different heights. We all different colors. We all got different bodies, yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, we all people. No one should scare you. No one should intimidate you to where you lose your composure, where you can't handle pressure. because somebody is standing there. And you're like, well, I'm scared of this person. This person is now going to bring up a bunch of anxieties, and now it's going to throw me off of my path. That should never happen. We're all the same. And it's hard sometimes, but you have to continue to remind yourself we're all the same. We're all the same. There's this saying, is like, I fear nobody. It's like, the only person I fear is God. But that really should be the truth, you know? Fear God, not man. Man has a lot of insecurities. Man has a lot of inadequacies. There's a lot of things that men and man can't do, but God can. There's no need to be afraid. There's no need to be intimidated by anybody. Last one, develop fingertip feel. I kind of took this as develop intuition, trust your gut, trust yourself. Also, what he honed in, I noticed on this part was, yeah, fingertip feel is your intuition, and you have to trust that you know the right decision, but it was also it's not making the decision, but it's also the speed at which you make the decision. So he was almost saying, it doesn't matter if you make the right decision, if you made that right decision too late. So like, yeah, you got the answer right, but it took you a month to get there, and by then, everything freaking changed. So it's being able to make the right decision fast, quickly. And sometimes it's hard to do that, you know, because, you know, at the time, you don't really know what's the right decision. A lot of times you don't know what the right decision is. And a lot of times too, I feel like people feel like it could be this or this. They have like choices. It's not just like one thing, but it's like, could be this or this. But the faster you're able to make that decision, the better things are, the better things go. Trust your gut, and also trust the knowledge that you have. And what seems to be the best thing about the whole fingertip feel, or I guess the best way to go about developing fingertip feel, is just being prepared, you know. And like I said, this was from the book, The War, 33 Strategies of War. So it's like being prepared. What is being prepared is knowing your terrain, knowing where, knowing who, knowing what, kind of like who, what, where, when, and why, knowing those. And if you are better prepared, you can make decisions, you can make better decisions, and you can make those decisions faster. And I feel like a lot of times when we're under pressure, sometimes it's like this, like sometimes just things hit the fan and you have to be able to act immediately. But other times you're kind of given a little bit of a deadline. Like, okay, you have X amount of hours. You have X amount of days. It's not always things hit the fan immediately, you have to act right now. But especially if you're given a deadline, you should be prepared. Now you have to work fast to be prepared, but you should be prepared. And if you have it's impossible to have all the answers, but if you have a lot of the answers and you know who you're dealing with, what you're dealing with, where you're dealing with them at, this person's tendencies, you should be able to make the right decision. But I also believe that the more, and this goes back to the first one, the more you put yourself in those situations, the faster you'll be able to make the correct decisions. A lot of it is practice, and that's what he was saying. He wasn't saying like these are like 6 steps and they're definitely gonna work. He was like, these are essentially just practices. You practice these and it's gonna help you be better and staying calm under pressure. I think staying calm under pressure is huge. I think staying calm under pressure is very important. I've also noticed due to my experience, if you stay calm under pressure and other people see you staying calm under pressure, people like you, bro. People like that. An example is, I was a student, at the current job I have now, I was first a student, and then they ended up hiring me. Like my second or third week there, we had a cold blue. Patient died on the table. Now, during that time, cold blue, what did I do? I undocked the table, because I remember being told, hey, if anything happens, get the patient out the room. That's number one, because nobody can go into that MRI room, or else there's gonna be a lot more casualties. Take the patient out the room. Get them into a safe location, and then assess the situation from there. So, things hit the fan, and what did I do? I got the patient out the room. Wasn't panicking, wasn't yelling, wasn't screaming. I had to move fast though, because the cold blue. Patient is essentially dead on the table. Unfortunate, but the truth. Pulled him out, got him to a safe location. By the time I got him to the safe location, other staff was coming in, did the whole CPR thing and all that other stuff. Because I was a student, I kind of let everybody else like take over. I ain't never been in a cold blue situation during that time. That was my first time, and I actually think that's my only time. Knock wood, because those are not fun situations to be in. But anyway, but everyone was impressed. Everyone was very impressed. And a part of it, people being impressed was, one, I was a student. Two, I was only there for like a week or two. So I'm a student and I'm new, and I held it down. Because of that, everyone was impressed. Damn, okay, things hit the fan. You did exactly what you needed to do. You didn't panic. You got the patient out the room safely. You put the patient in an area where everybody can come to and congregate around. When people ask me, hey, can you grab me this? Can you grab me that? I did that in a very timely manner without panicking or any of that. And now all of a sudden, the whole department likes me because I'm cool under pressure. And now they feel like I'm accountable. And I've been in other situations, not cold blues, but like seizures and other stuff like that. And I respond in the same exact way. And over time, people are like, wow, you are reliable. You are someone I can come to. Because when things hit the fan, you didn't cry, you didn't yell, you didn't run all over like a chicken with his head cut off. You were actually useful. You didn't just stay there and just watch. You were useful, and you were helpful, and you were calm. Everyone appreciates that, and that's essentially what you have to do. People like people who are calm under pressure. No one likes someone who is bugging out all the time. It's a bad look, bro. It's a bad look. And I've never personally, have I? I probably have, just not in the hospital. In the hospital, I've never personally been in a situation where someone kind of let their emotions get out the way during a time of crisis like that. But I have heard stories of essentially someone just like not helping or like not really being useful. And they all talk crap about that person. Because it's like, yo, we need you. We need you now more than ever. And you did nothing. So it's like, yeah, you're useful. You're not a good contributor to the team. So, yep, these are the 6 ways to stay calm under pressure. Expose yourself to conflict, be self-reliant, suffer fools gladly, crowd out feelings of panic by focusing on simple tasks, unintimidate yourself, develop fingertip feel. I like these. I think the book did a really good job explaining those out, and I'm gonna continue to work on following these because I feel like you could never be too calm under pressure. I mean, I guess you can by just like not doing anything, but I think you understand where I'm getting at. But anyway, thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Thank you, Brody. I love you, man. Keep your head up. Keep on pushing, man. Things gonna get better for sure. Peace.